Sandmarc just sent me their Hybrid Pro filters, which smash together a neutral density and a polarizer all into one filter, and we're gonna be checking it out on this video. The Hybrid Pro filters come in this handy dandy case with spots for all three of them. It comes with the ND16PL. This one is used for cloudy conditions. The ND32PL, which is used for partly cloudy conditions, as well as the ND64PL, which is used for bright sunny conditions. The lenses are comprised of multi-coated glass that are anti-reflective with an aluminum frame. To change the polarity on there, you just spin this outer ring. It's a firm, smooth action that doesn't take a lot of effort, doesn't make sound, but will stay put. They come in 58, 67, 72, and 82 millimeter sizes. This means it's gonna work with your DSLRs or mirrorless cameras. Pro tip, look at all your lenses and get the largest size and use step-up rings for the rest of them so you can buy one set of filters for all of them. It will not cause vignetting up to a 16 millimeter wide lens, which means those little black things that end up in the corners won't be there, and I do get annoyed with those on some other filters that I have. I'll make sure to put links in the description below to these step-up rings as well as these filters so you can check them out for yourself. Why would someone want a hybrid filter? To explain that, we first have to understand polarizer and ND filters. A polarizer is going to filter the light based on the direction of polarization. For an example, a laser, the polarization's all in the same direction. So if we take a laser, yeah, that's my sound effect, and I shine it through the filter, what's gonna happen is if it's aligned with the same direction of polarization, it's gonna let all the light through. If I rotate it 90 degrees, it's gonna block all the light. And I'm gonna show you an example right now where I'm also doing this with a real laser. It's dimming it slightly because we're using these and they have an ND capability of them, which I'll talk about in a second, which is gonna dim it in general. When it comes to normal life, because everything's not about lasers, unfortunately, the sunlight coming down has its polarization scattered in all directions. But the reflections off the water, off the sky, pretty much everything we see is reflected off something, often has some polarization with it. The reflections off of windows, for instance, is polarized. So if you can block that reflection out, you're gonna see right through it. Same thing with different rainbows and all sorts of cool things like that. So that's why you'd want a polarizer to do that, to enhance the sky, to enhance the water, to see through a window, all those things. Neutral density filters, on the other hand, what they do is limit the amount of light that goes through. So if I have my light source here, I have my filter here, and we change that out to an ND4, which is 1/4 of the light making it through. We have the 16, the 32, and 64. That's letting less and less light through. Why would you want a neutral density filter? The reason is you'd want that wider aperture for a shallow depth of field with that blurry background, in combination with the right shutter timing or shutter length for the frame rate that you're shooting at or for that long exposure shot that you're trying to get. So you want that combination. That's where you're gonna want to get an ND filter just like these. Going back to why would you want a hybrid filter? There's two main reasons. Reason number one is you want an ND filter and a polarizer at the same time. Most of them, if you read the instructions, are not meant to be stacked together. You can get reflections in between them, you're gonna get ghosting, you're gonna get vignetting, and all sorts of other issues. So you don't want that if you want both at the same time. Number two is I can take this old original Rebel here, and it looks all right, right? Now look what I have here. This doesn't look like an old Rebel. This looks like a professional camera. You look like you know what you're doing. Obviously, I had to go test these things out. Fall is quickly fading on us. Unfortunately, those pretty leaves are starting to vanish, but we did do some tests with water and reflections and different things like that, so let's talk about those. Test number one is the reflection test. So if you want to film from inside your car or outside your car through that glass, you don't want those reflections there most of the time. You can see how it changes drastically looking through the window with or without the filter there as you rotate it around. Worked just like I expected it. The second test was an evening shot with the lake in the background, and you can really see the sky and the water change big time as you rotate this around. You can see how the sky will just pop. The next test was the riverfront. Now this is on a less ideal day. So this is gonna pop a lot better whenever the sky is more blue, there's clouds and such, and that reflection's coming off the water. If this is completely overcast day, you can see a little bit of a difference, but not that big, and these are not the ideal conditions to test it. And the last one, which is even less ideal to test it, I had to try it at night just to see if it would work, and it does, but because of the in-deep component of this, unless you're trying to do some crazy long exposure, you're probably not going to be using these at night. These filters seem to do everything they said they'll do. They have the fixed ND setting, so you're going to have to swap those around. You can vary the direction of the polarization. So if that's what you want and you understand that's what you need, these would be great for you. This has been Paul with the Sandmarc Pro Hybrid Filters. Thank you for watching.